So recently I posted on our channel the review of Parks Wildlife, the latest expansion to one of my favorite worker placement games and really one of my favorite games in general. And at the end, towards the patron thank you and all the beeps and bloops about different videos that you can watch, I made mention of consolidating everything into one box and getting a little bit crafty, cutting up the insert, because the insert for the base game is so beautiful and you want to preserve everything, but you also want to be a one box sort of person, which I do. I have too many games to tolerate expansion boxes on my shelves when I could be eliminating them. So, lo and behold, I wake up this morning to a comment from YouTube user Ryan Anthony saying, yo, can we get some sort of tutorial on what you did here? And I'm happy to oblige. So for you, Ryan Anthony, and anyone else that wants a video of such extreme specificity, this is how I customize my Parks game. And I'm talking everything, including Nightfall and Wildlife, inside one box. Okay, so a couple of preliminary steps. We need to have both some sort of razors or X-Acto knives, and then also to empty out the box. And our goal here is to keep the 60% or so of the insert that has the camera side of things on it, and discard the side that has the recesses for the fire token and the first player marker. A really helpful way of doing this is to score the box first to make a nice even straight line before you're actually puncturing through that you can then follow as you're doing your cuts later on. You'll thank me for this. And then when you begin cutting, you're going to realize you're doing it on top of your nice new board game table, and you don't want to look like a complete idiot on the internet. So you instead get yourself your plastic mat that you have, or some sort of cutting board to cut on top of, like so. And then you're just going to continue cutting away that side until you have it all the way chopped up. And you'll notice that you still have some rough edges here, which you very carefully cut in order to get it as smooth as possible, which is going to help protect anything else that we have in the box butting up against that insert. Okay, so at this point we have an insert that is freshly chopped. It can slide around in here, which is what we want. And first we're going to take all of our wooden tokens, all of the meeples, and we're going to put them in the two pockets here, except for this guy who kind of abandoned ship. Next up, we're going to take the trails, the standard trails that come with the base game, and those are all going to go in one corner here, and they're not overflowing, so they stay relatively locked. Camera token goes in the camera token spot because it's just groovy like that. And then here I keep the cards that you don't use very often. These are the original year cards as well as the solo cards, and I keep those here, which, by the way, I'm using some Hugo's amazing tape for all of the cards, so that way it stays adhered to itself, but it doesn't affect the cards one bit. If you don't have some of this stuff, it is a lifesaver for the board game enthusiast. Goes in that pocket. And now the extra Nightfall camp cards, as well as the additional trails that came out of the most recent Wildlife expansion, I'm going to put in this central recess. And then also in there, I'm going to put our Bustalo. Well, he's technically a bison, but Mr. Bustalo is what we call him in these parts. And then we have our first player token, and this is going to be kind of the only area of the box where things are hanging out relatively loosely. You could organize this a little bit different if you wanted to, but that's going to do what we need it to do. And then over here, we have all of our lovely Parks cards, and they're going in this section, and you'll notice that it's slightly raised above the rest of it. That's good. And then we have all the remainder of the small cards that we're also going to need. Those are going to go right here. And then the trailhead and trail end tokens are going to kind of even things out right here, and that works perfectly. Now, these grooves that were originally there for the game board, those are going to be really helpful because it's just enough space in order to put these skinnier components that I have. I have the skinnier rule books as well as the, I don't know, promotional Parks card thing that I don't know why I keep it, but I do. And the Nightfall camp board, that can all fit in here perfectly, and that's going to keep things relatively flat. And then on top of that, we're going to put the game board, and that is going to sit just so nice and perfect. We have a little bit of slidage here, but that's okay. And then on top of this, to even everything out, I put the rule book. And then on top of that, go the component tokens. And we are done. Nice and flat and beautiful. Stays together. We just put the box top on, and there you have it. So that's it. As you can see, it sits pretty flat. There is a little bit of chub here, a little bit of box slough, but it's not uneven in any way, and it seems to be within tolerance levels. And when you actually open it up, regardless of how you oriented it or put it on your shelf, everything stays nice and flat and organized. So this works for me. I hope it works for you. If you've done your own organizational technique to parks, then go ahead and put some discussion in the comments so other people can see alternatives. And if you have other games that you want to see that I've done something crafty with that you've noticed on my shelves or in the B-roll of videos or anything, let me know. I'm happy to do this so long as there are people who want to watch it. As always, thanks for watching, thanks for supporting, thanks for being an awesome community. You know that I've been Jack for the Cardboard Herald.